don't know if you heard that, but that's not what matters. Trans people aren't the enemy. My apologies, but it's the fact. It's the truth. Trans people aren't the enemy. Being different from the norm isn't the problem. The problem is that people do not tolerate differences. Do you honestly believe that of all the 8 billion people on this earth, that every single one of them identifies as either male or female? Do you seriously believe that the entire world's population believes that? Do you honestly believe that every single person really identifies as one of two genders? Do you seriously believe that? I find it hard to believe, considering how many differences there are among just humanity in general, with the appearances and stuff. Oh, and trans people aren't necessarily a thing that needs just biology to be looked at. It's sociology too. The complexity of trans people, their existence, has to be explained with both biology and sociology. So stop saying that trans people aren't trans because they got thing and other thing, when gender is more of a sociology thing, more of a neural thing rather than a, DNA thing. And we do not understand the human mind just yet fully. There's so many secrets to it. So you can't just rip off someone saying they're trans or whatever as, no, you're not. Don't do that. That's not nice. It's also a waste of time to be so hateful. Why do you spend so much time hating other people when you can just focus on yourself and trying to be happy in this miserable world that is made more miserable by the day by our very species? Again, trans people aren't the enemy. They aren't a threat to society unless you make them a threat to society. If you force someone into a desperate situation, you force them to be a threat to your society because your society is fragile and based on your stuff. You force things onto other people, and that's just not cool. Trans people aren't forcing others to accept them. They're asking people to accept them. In general, you cannot blame trans people like me for being mad when you refuse to accept the fact that we exist. We aren't going anywhere. You can get rid of as many of us as you want, but we're just going to be staying. There will always be trans people because humanity is diverse, and that's beautiful. Trans people need to be stopped being used as a scapegoat. The things that they're saying about trans people are actually things that should be applied to the people in power. The people in power are the problem. Why would they tell the truth about anything when it's so easy to not change anything about the state of affairs and just lie about everything? It's much easier to lie than it is to tell the truth, because then you don't get to face the consequences of telling the truth as someone who's, cruel and stuff. Again, it's so easy to just say, we aren't going to change anything because the way things are good is good, when it's actually not good. And has there ever been a time in history where killing off an entire group of people has been a good idea? No. There are people who want to literally decimate the entirety of the trans populace. And that's not going to accomplish what they want. They can't get rid of trans people forever. What good is exterminating an entire group of people? How is that ever good? How is that ever justified? Seriously, how can that be good? In fiction, getting rid of an entire group of people is never a good idea. Unless it's a very small threatening group of people like the Akatsuki, or Kara, or the Barians. I'll make a, actually written out video about this sort of topic in the future, but this is it for now. It's a ramble, I know, but it's important that I make the point of trans people aren't the enemy. So there you go. I'll see ya.